Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Wild story that kind of just emerged out of nowhere on Tuesday. By the way, make sure you're following our Torres on CU page for all things Torres on Colorado, all of my segments, my clips, etc. We have team-specific pages, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into this. And I'll be honest, and this story was kind of wild to me, and I'll tell you what. Is transparently, I don't consume a lot of other sports media. It's not because I'm high and mighty and I think I'm better than everybody else or anything like that. It's just I'm busy prepping my own show, watching games, talking to sources, whatever. And so I bring it up because very rarely do I see a story evolve over the course of the day and a take begin to explode like a mushroom cloud, okay? But that's exactly what happened on Tuesday. So Tuesday, the Dallas Cowboys are, of course, coming off that embarrassing loss on Monday night to the Houston Texans. Dallas is awful. They're one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst. I watch a lot of Sunday football. I'm done with Dallas. Like they just are not interesting to me. They're not good. I said on the show last year, they should have fired Mike McCarthy last year. They didn't, whatever. I actually think they should have fired Mike McCarthy several years ago, which we'll get into in a minute. But I bring it up because on the heels of Dallas getting smoked again, I was watching Get Up while I was working out in the morning. Get Up's the Mike Greenberg show. Louis Riddick's on it. They do a really good job. And so right away, it goes from the Cowboys stink to, who they need to hire is Deion Sanders, former Cowboy. We know the story, this and that. And what was crazy about the whole thing was I saw the take kind of evolve over the course of the day. So it started with the Cowboys need to hire Deion. Then it became the Cowboys got to figure out a way to get Shador with Deion to Dallas as well. And what I will say is this. Listen, I'm a college football guy, love college football, love the NFL as well. But what I would also say transparently is this. If Deion goes to the Cowboys, I think it will be fantastic. I think it'll be fun. I think it will be awesome. I just don't think that we have to keep doing this because I don't think Coach Prime wants to go anywhere. He actually addressed it in his Tuesday media availability. He says he's not going anywhere. And until further notice, I think we got to stop putting Coach Prime in a bunch of jobs that he doesn't want. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive into this. First of all, let me say this. Let me take a half a second here. And let me give myself a little pat on the back. So we've been doing this podcast for like 5-6 years now. It's been on video for about the last 2.5 or so. Okay. And the reason I bring it up is because back when this was an audio only podcast, I did this take and I can't lie. This was one of the great takes that I have ever had doing this show. And the take was pretty straightforward. It goes back 3 years. If you remember, the Cowboys have lost in the first round of the playoffs 3 straight years. Okay. Last year it was to the Packers. They get embarrassed at home. The year before they lose to the 49ers on the road. I guess that was technically the second round maybe, but they lose to the 49ers on the road. And then the year before they lost at home to the 49ers in a game where they could not spike the ball. They didn't know how to spike the ball. And on that show the next day, and it was audio only. I wish I could pull out the video clip, but I said 3 things. I said, you have to fire Mike McCarthy right now. And people said, you're crazy. It's overreactionary. It's one playoff loss. They win 12 games during the regular season, whatever. And I said, here is why you have to fire him. I said, there are 2 reasons really. One, the inability to run a 2-minute drill to spike the football is the bigger picture issue with Mike McCarthy. His teams are talented, except for this year. We'll get to that in a minute. But his teams are talented, but they are mistake prone. The details are the issue with the Cowboys. They don't know how to run a 2-minute drill. They don't know how to spike the football. Historically, they've been towards the top of the NFL in penalties under Mike McCarthy. Those are details. Those are small things. Those are correctable things with the right coach. Beyond that, why I said 3 years ago they had to make the move then was because I said, you can go back and listen. You can find it in the archives. I think it would be January of 2022. I would have said this, okay? I said, you have to make the move now because you have a very small window where Dak Prescott, yes, he has an expensive contract, okay? But at the same time, the contract was getting less expensive as more guys signed. But you also, at the time, You had CeeDee Lamb on a rookie contract. You had Micah Parsons on a rookie contract. You had Trevon Diggs, who was playing really well at the time, on a rookie contract. And I said, you have 2 years while all these guys are on rookie contracts. You have to take advantage of this window right now. And I did say, actually, this was the best part of the take. I said, you should go hire Nick Saban. Because at the time we knew Nick Saban only had 2 or 3 years left. He's pay him $25 million a year, whatever, double his salary at Alabama. But Nick Saban is a detail-oriented guy, a process-oriented guy, and the talent was there in Dallas. Instead, Dallas did nothing, and we now see that I was 100% right. They had a 2-year window before all of these deals came up, and they missed the window. And now CeeDee's getting paid. Dak's got a new contract. Micah wants a new contract, and they're a total cluster. And so to get full circle back to Deion, one, that's why I don't think he's taking the job, is first off, it's a total mess. And for Coach Prime, listen, I don't think he's going to be at Colorado for 25 years, but he has a good thing going. By the way, we talked about it on Sunday's show. He had the biggest recruiting weekend maybe in the history of Colorado football this past weekend. Several 5 stars, several 4 stars. Bunch of kids from IMG Academy. They're going to get a Julian Lewis flip here in the next couple of days, whenever it is before National Signing Day. So he has it good right now. So one, I don't think that we need to go, I don't think he needs to take a bad job, even if he has ties to that job. But then beyond that, what I would also say is this. I think he genuinely loves coaching college football. And so to me, that's the frustrating part, watching it from a distance, is just let this guy enjoy being the Colorado football coach. I think it's 2 things at Colorado. One is, first off, this is important to note. Rick George, the AD at Colorado, was the only guy at the Power 5 level, Power 4 level that believed in him. I think that matters. Remember, he was a free agent. He was available in a year where Arizona State was open. Now, they made the right hire with Kenny Dillingham, but Auburn was open. All these schools were open. And I saw an article last week, well, Auburn, what if Auburn had hired Coach Prime? It's like, if Auburn hired Coach Prime, no disrespect, producer Matt, but you know the truth, they wouldn't have let Coach Prime be Coach Prime. And so what Rick George saw was that I want Coach Prime, but I want the entire package. I want the confidence. I want the swagger. I want Coach Prime to be Coach Prime. That is the guy I want as my head coach. So I think he's loyal to Rick George. But beyond that, I think he just likes coaching college football. I don't think he's leaving for another job. Maybe in a year or 2 if Florida State opens, but he's not trying to climb the ladder. He likes Colorado, and I really think he just genuinely enjoys coaching young men and seeing boys become men. I thought it was interesting. I saw a clip of Dan Hurley, the UConn basketball coach, a few days ago, talking about the impact that the Lakers interview had for him. Because what he realized while interviewing for the Lakers was, I really like being a college coach, and I really like the fact that I can be, I'm basically touching these kids at the last point before they become men, and the last point before I can have an impact on who they become as men. He talked about the idea that once guys get to the pros, and I'm paraphrasing now, but he said, look, they have houses, they're away from the facility, they come into work, it's only work, they have wives, they have children, they have whatever. When they're in college, they're living on campus. They're all eating meals together. They're traveling together. They're doing, and he just said, I love the idea that I can have an impact on the man that they become. And I truly believe that Coach Prime sees it as the exact same thing. I think he really likes going into an 18-year-old kid's house or having an 18-year-old kid on campus and saying, you come here 3 or 4 years, I'm going to turn you into a man. I'm going to make you a better person. I'm going to make you a better husband and make you a better father down the road. But you got to come here to Colorado. And so I don't think he wants to go to the NFL. I don't think he wants to go to the league. I don't think he wants to go deal with Micah Parsons said this on a podcast, and now he's got to address it in the locker room. And this guy's holding out for a contract, and this guy's doing this. I think he genuinely likes college football. So let him have this moment. By the way, the last thing I would say before we get to some hoops is the Shador element of it was the weirdest part. Because I'm not sure if you heard, Dallas has a quarterback who's going to make $60 million next year. And I know what people say, oh, you can trade Dak, and there's an opportunity to trade Dak, and somebody will take him. And it's like, really? I think Dak's good, but you're gonna trade for him to make $60 million a year? I'm sorry, I don't think whoever it is, I don't think the New York Giants, I don't think the Las Vegas Raiders want $60 million Dak when they could probably just get Shador or start over with another rookie as well. I don't think it's the best quarterback class in college in the NFL. but I don't think you're taking Dak Prescott either. So this idea that, just trade for Shedeur, trade for the number 1 pick, get Shedeur and bring Deion. It's like, yeah, that sounds great if you can get the number 1 pick. I just don't know how Dallas is going to get the number 1 pick with Dak Prescott. Who is going to take Dak Prescott off their hands? And oh, by the way, they're not going to bench Dak Prescott as a $60 million quarterback. So we don't talk a ton of NFL, but I did think that was a fun and sort of interesting topic. I appreciate everybody chiming in on it, but I'm here to tell you, man, we got to stop pretending like Coach Prime is just itching to get out of Colorado. He's going to leave someday. Again, I don't think it's going to be for the NFL. I don't think it's even going to be for another college job unless it is like a Florida State or a place that feels like home to him. I think he's loyal to Colorado. And oh, by the way, I didn't even mention this. He addressed multiple times that he's not interested. He said it at his press conference. And as a matter of fact, producer Matt, I think we have the sound. He was actually asked by this. He was actually asked about this by Michael Irvin on Speak on FS1. Producer Matt, go ahead and play the sound if you have it.
People to be better than they really are, besides Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know you focus day to day. I know you're a day-to-day man. But can you think about some days?
Let me take the computer here, because you starting to talk that talk. I got to show you where I am. I love it where I am.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
I love it where I am. I love it. I love it where I am.
That was Coach Prime on Speak last week. By the way, I also saw Michael Irvin claim that he has sources that say that Coach Prime would go to the NFL if Shedeur would go with him. I don't buy it. Again, maybe if it's the Cowboys, maybe if they somehow get the number 1 pick, which I don't really think is on the table. I just don't think anybody's trading that pick, and I still don't know what you do with Dak Prescott. So we can move on, but I thought that was a wild discourse to kind of watch over the course of over the last couple hours. Because man, oh man, it came out of nowhere. It was all Cowboys related. And next thing you know, everybody's handing Coach Prime the Cowboys head coaching job.